DOC is in the building. Shout out to the legendary Rick Doc Walker joining us in person. Hopefully they got you live on Monumental Sports Network, the YouTube chat, and right here on 106.7 The Fan. What's up, Doc? How are you?
Hey,
Merry
man,
Christmas,
good, man. Get to rub shoulders with Czabe. I couldn't turn this down. I had to come in and do it.
Big day. Big day.
Weather's turned south out there.
Yeah, I came in. There's some pellets things hitting, so I'm going to have to do an exit stage left.
You know, Coach Gibbs would call that Redskin weather.
Yeah. If we were playing a game, you would, yeah. Not practice. Yeah.
Well, nasty.
Speaking of the game, what'd you think of yesterday?
I'm surprised, pleasantly surprised. I didn't think they'd win the game. I hoped they would, but they were far more competitive at areas than I expected, and then other areas are just not good enough.
I was impressed at the guts they showed 21-3 to fight back.
Yep.
But the performance that leads to 21-3, to your point, they're just not good enough.
It's not good enough.
And Dallas offensively is excellent, even when they're probably given a 75% effort. Dak was not locked in yesterday, and he still went for 300 and whatever.
He was pressured, though. Was he not locked in? He was unexpectedly pressured. That surprised me. They got after him a bit. But still, how do you let a guy run by you who's the fastest man in the world? And you already know that. You got scouting reports. It's Bob Hayes.
Yeah.
If he comes out, I'm running back. I'm turning and running to the end zone.
He's beaten you before in Turpin.
It's just the things like that that are irritating. For all the things that went well with the great efforts, I started thinking some of the stuff is common sense. How can I have you on the field if I have to explain that to you? To me, you're the wrong guy.
We did see some good performances from some young players. What'd you think of Bill yesterday?
You know he's in him. I'll say that the opponent is above average. So it's all credible. You got to see people and you go, well, what took that so long? It's my first response.
Yeah.
Were you holding back? But again, it's Dallas. That wasn't doomsday. So that was payday. And he did well. But I knew he could run. I want to know, can he hold on to the ball and still be effective and dynamic? And he was. And then I'm a Rodriguez guy.
Oh, yeah.
So I was only wondering, what if? What might that have been? I thought the running game was fine.
C-Rod must have been sick as a dog.
Had to be.
Hate that for him.
How do you even assess a game like this, Doc? Is it just best to pretend it's warm and humid out and it's August and that this is an August game?
Yeah.
And only look at individual performances?
Well, because I can't imagine the collective being the same next year.
No.
So
better not be.
Well, I'm just saying. So realistically, I'm looking for individuals who show me they have something in them that maybe I didn't realize. I want to be at fault. I want people to say, why didn't you play them? That's on me. Because if they could do what they did yesterday in some sense, I go, well, where's that been? Was that my fault for preventing you to let this animal come out in you? Or was it you?
Well, the number one guy for that is Johnny Newton. What did you see in Johnny Newton? Because your boy Linnell didn't see much. He saw 6-second sacks, which are more indicative of coverage sacks or just brain fart sacks by Dak. And then other guys like Grant say, no, this is a breakout game for him.
Well, yeah, I mean, both guys might be right. But whatever it is, why was that the first time we've seen it? We've had circumstances that have measured just like that.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, it's not like he went up against somebody in the UFL. I mean, their line is stout. Their line is as good as our line, any line. So they protect a guy making $60 million a year.
Yeah. He wants to play next week too, Dak.
Why wouldn't you?
Well, I'm just saying. Sure, he says he wants to, but is it smart to play him? Would you play him? Also, I got to get Doc on record here, JP, as to what makes sense to play at quarterback for the Commanders this week or next.
Well, I don't think JD5 is healthy.
Okay. Well, yeah, we know that, but just who would you play?
There's no way you're going back to Jaden at this point.
Right. So, but do you play Johnson again, knowing exactly what you got in him?
Based on what he showed you, I'd like to see him do it again.
Okay. So
But
sort of he earned the right
Yeah,
to start
I think so.
again.
If you get a guy, if he's not prepared, he's your third guy. To me, that's your fault. You've had him there the whole time. You know, I remember how Joe used to have Jerry Rome, one coach, with our backups for 3 straight hours. They worked every day on that. That should be the norm. You never heard them say, well, Trent Green, well, he's not. He didn't know. They all had reps. They all worked because he's assigned a person to them, and they did it for 2 or 3 hours every stinking day.
Who do they get reps with? The second team?
They got reps with Jerry Rome. They worked on fundamentals.
Oh, individual reps.
Individual
okay.
reps.
Not
yeah.
7 on
they
7.
They had a professor in a room with them
Right.
for 3 hours every day. And 2 of those guys ended up being all-pro, one won a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
But yet no one decides to kick the tire and go, well, maybe there's another way to develop. So let them do it their way by not playing them. Saying, well, we don't even know what they're capable of doing. I don't know if they know what they're capable of doing. But the starter showed you something yesterday. Showed you that might be a bargain based on what you're paying other people.
Got Rick Doc Walker sitting with us here. We're very excited to have Doc in the building. Senate.
Mm-hmm.
Talented. When he gets the ball in his hands, he can go. He can break tackles. He's athletic.
He's shown that.
Got the 3 catches yesterday.
Yeah.
2 of them came late in no huddle drive down 10.
Well, still, he caught him.
Yeah. What do you think of Senate?
I loved him at K-State. I watched him a lot in college. I said, wow, this guy's got a lot of promise. Question is, what do they think? What is he doing in practice that has put him on the back burner? Now, when Ertz is there, obviously, the respect goes. But he can do things Ertz can't do. So the object of the game is utilize all your talent. There should have been a package. Should have been something. But then again, it's Kingsbury's deal. He's running everything. So whatever the king wants, he gets.
Thing about tight ends, too, and I don't need to tell you this because you played it, is that there is more, it seems to me, Doc, more tight ends pop as later round guys, as absolute game wreckers than perhaps any other position. And I'm not
You don't
sure
wanna
why
put
that
draft
is.
capital in, because even though you're asked to do 2 things as opposed to 1,
Right.
it's a risk on draft capital because there's so many people that cannot block at the line of scrimmage.
Right. Well, guys like Kittle,
He
5th
does.
round pick.
Yeah, and he's a gem come
Savage.
true. He's
Yeah.
a beast.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Tucker Kraft was that guy for the Packers. They actually drafted him as the blocking tight end.
Meanwhile, Kyle Pitts is a
Musgrave.
first rounder.
Yeah, right.
can't block.
Yeah, because
one game.
Yeah, but that's because they drafted an athlete, and then he didn't develop. And why would you?
What's wrong with drafting an athlete? Don't you want athletes?
Depends on what your offense is.
Oh, okay.
If you're not depending on the running game, Atlanta has backs.
Yeah,
They can chew you up on the ground.
yeah.
But taking that one guy out of the blocking deal hurts. If
Yeah.
he's in and effective because the receivers block, why we're good here is when Terry blocks. He didn't get credit for it, but he blocks.
Yeah, he does.
You don't get big runs without people on the perimeter block. Art Monk blocked. Gary,
Yeah.
they all block.
Yeah.
You have to be able to do that if you have a running game. But our running game is like hocus pocus. Now you see it, now you don't.
That's a good way of describing it, honestly. What do you think the biggest needs are? How do they fix this? 4-12 is broken. How do you fix it?
Well, your big 4, your quarterback, your left tackle, cornerback, and edge. So 2 of the 4, they're batting 0 at. So it doesn't
Corner
matter.
and edge.
It doesn't matter how good the quarterback is or the left tackle. You can't go 0. They have no edge and they can't cover a goal. So you know who's in your division receiver-wise. The Fab 5 I'm pleased with. The offensive line, I'm good. They underutilize them. That's on the king. It has nothing to do with the guys up front. You had big athletic people that love to block people, and you didn't unleash them. That's on you. So with his philosophy, I have no idea what the hell they're going to do. Probably get another receiver.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting, man.
So you would go corner or edge?
No, I can't say who.
Till you
Can't
see
say
the board?
what. I need to see who's
Till you see
there.
where, okay.
Yeah, who's like this. There's a couple of kids everybody's screaming about. I need one of them to live up to it. Remember, nobody was screaming about Dexter Manley.
Yeah.
And look what happened.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you're drafted, it's who you are.
You know who can help
And then
you?
who can train you.
The guy Van Ginkel. I think he was a 6th rounder.
Ball player.
Savage.
Yeah.
It's, but look at his defensive coordinator.
Oh, yeah. He is Flores is tearing the league up.
Well, and Flores brought him to Minnesota after coaching him in Miami.
If Flores had been maintained in Miami, they would have a beast. He's perfect for the tropics because he don't give a damn about the sun or the weather. So he conforms you into being a beast because he's sick.
One of the other reasons they said they ran him out was he was being mean to Tua because he thought Tua was soft. Well,
no, he knew Tua was soft.
Right, right. But the rest of the media was not on with it because Tua had his best season ever, and they're like, "Why are you being so mean to this guy?" And McDaniel comes in, and he's the new school nerd genius.
For how much longer?
I'd flush that whole thing. He's out. You got to move on from Tua.
Van
Hit
Ginkel,
the big
5th rounder,
plunger,
by the way.
big plunger on that down there.
Yeah,
You think they will?
Huh?
You think they will?
I don't know because they got one of the bottom 5 owners in the league in Ross. Easily.
We're happy to spend money though. So it's
that doesn't help
issue
you.
of firing.
No,
people.
it isn't. It isn't, but it actually hurts you because you're spending it on the wrong guys. See the Jets with what they paid for Justin Fields. Justin Fields was a known QB2 at best, and they're like, I don't know, maybe we could shine him up.
Terrific runner though. If you would,
he's a great runner.
2.
Right.
He's a
Change
great
of pace guy.
Yes.
Can come in and disrupt a defense because you didn't prepare for him all week. And he's the best runner I've seen. I mean, the kid in Baltimore is elusive. This dude's powerful and can make you miss.
Yeah.
When he was in Chicago, I was going, wow. Starter?
He's just
but
not a
having
passer.
a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a weapon.
Doc, who's the best team in football right now?
My gut still, first thing comes to my mouth is Rams. I think the first thing you say is usually about it. We really believe that from what I've seen, young, athletic freaks on defense can cover and run, got a quarterback, got receivers, and they'll run it. And they've got the coach. I feel about them and the Chargers are probably the most powerful West Coast entities I've seen since the old silver and black days.
Wow.
They got everybody.
More so than some of those Niners teams?
Well, the Niners are always. They're like whatever you consider your go-to automobile for reliability, luxury, it's got everything.
Yeah.
And they always do.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to win the big one enough. And so that's what makes it so interesting.
One thing I love about the Rams that you mentioned, because I don't know that this happens everywhere, but here everyone just obsesses with the first round pick.
That's normal.
That Rams D line that we all talk about.
Amazing.
The 2 top sack guys are 3rd rounder.
Amazing.
Byron Young and Kobe Turner. Now Verse is a 1st rounder. I think he was about the 20th overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody that wants to lose, so the pick is higher. Like there's good players all over. Yeah. I think Verse was maybe
he's nasty.
I think he was 19th.
Mm-hmm.
The kid Fisk, he was a 2nd rounder, 6'5", 3 bills. Like you got to build rosters. It's not all about having the 4th or the 6th pick.
Darryl Grant, 12th. It matters what the guy has inside of him. Do you have anybody on your staff that can unlock it?
Can you talk about the Lions for a second? They had, I think, 6 turnovers yesterday. They hadn't had 6 turnovers all year as a team. They were 4th in yards per game, 6th in points per game this year. And they just, to me, look like they emotionally couldn't accept the fact they lost that game last week. They let 1 loss turn into 2 losses. The fact they lost to a guy who threw for 3 net yards passing is an all-time embarrassment.
When your head guy is that emotional, for all that he's good at.
Hit the ding button there, JP.
That's it. I've never hit a button. I'm not really.
For all that
really
he did.
You're right. When your head coach is an empath, which is what Campbell is, and it's very endearing. I love to see it. The fiery locker room speeches, the tearful speeches as well.
It's the best.
You're saying that your team is going to vibrate to the same rhythms as he does.
He can't be the guy pushing the button.
Right.
He's got to be the guy behind the guy to push the button. So I don't know who tranquilizes him. Everybody in charge has got to respect somebody. So if they go off the deep end, there's only one guy on that staff, their buddy, because they're all the buddies.
Well, I think also this year, I think this year he misses the lieutenants who went and got head coaching jobs.
And that
Glenn and
hurts.
Johnson, because those guys, I think, knew how to mitigate his emotional swings.
Exactly.
Sure.
And they were able to get to the players to go, okay, look, last week sucked. We had it won 3 times,
Right.
and penalties took it away from us. We're still alive.
And he respected them.
We're still alive. Let's
Yeah.
beat the piss out of these Vikings.
Yeah.
They stink.
Yeah, he wouldn't trump them. And the offensive coordinator, who's now in Chicago, shows you that in the end, the guy I always like is the guy that nobody wants to take him to the dinner party. I don't want the Toastmaster. I want the guy that nobody wants to go with.
Right.
Because he's the guy that's 24/7. It's all football.
Yeah.
And he knows how to push buttons. The Walmart guy, the card greeter, whatever, it's rest for us. In the media, give me the guy with the sound bite. But if I were an ownership person, I want the guy nobody wants to talk to.
Yeah.
I want the jackass.
I love, this is many years back.
Yeah.
I don't think we were on air. We were talking about how you never want a coach that plays golf.
No. If it comes down to it, you can say the guy with the golf bag in his trunk and the guy without. I'm saying the guy without.
What about a coach who would, cut practice short to get an emergency 9?
Spurrier. No, it's nothing wrong. It's love golf. It's the addictive part.
Did I ever?
You know, it's the addiction.
I'm fully
it's
aware.
so strong.
It's one of my many addictions.
but you're
JP,
normal.
you remember when Spurrier was cutting practice short to go get 9 holes in at Beacon Hill?
Not as a, as I wasn't working in the business then, but I remember.
Yeah.
To channel my inner Ron Burgundy, not Ron Burgundy, but Talladega Nights,
Ricky
Bobby,
Yeah.
my inner Ricky Bobby, that was real. That happened.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, it is.
Spurrier cutting practices short to get 9 holes in at Beacon Hill, which, by the way, is resurrected again for those that want to go check it out. 9 holes where he lived out there. Practices short. That actually happened. Documented.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever told you this. When I used to do the weekly one-on-ones with Sean McVay,
Yeah.
we had, having done this forever, like the time you get before and after the light is on,
That's
before
it.
the camera's on, that's
Yeah,
when you
that's the
talk.
best.
That's when you learn.
That's the
I remember
best.
one of them walking back to the locker room with Sean. I was like, you ever play golf? He's like, nah, man, it's not for me. I was like, why? He's like, I'm just way too competitive. I don't have the time. I leave that for the other guys. And every time I think of your rant, I think of McVay.
I bet you he could remember every shot on every hole at every course he's ever played because he's freaking Rain Man.
I don't think he plays. Period.
No, I'm saying if he
Right.
were to play,
Sure.
Yeah.
he'd be like that whole trick.
DQ
Doc,
doesn't golf either, for what it's worth.
the trick of him remembering every play and the situations to me is approaching the O's the mentalist level of.
Oh, he's
Crazy.
different. He's different.
Yes.
He's different. And Cool used to tell me great stories about him as a tight end coach. You can always you can identify talent no matter what position it's at. That's what I love and what I miss about watching practice. If I can see the practice, I know who's on because they're buddies, and I
Right.
know who's on who I wouldn't want my son being coached by.
Right.
And then I know the guy, no matter what his position, his level on the staff is handing out gold
Yeah.
because it's how he's talking to people, how he's getting results. They're very fundamentally, it's all hands and feet and eyes. And I can hear him talking about it. And the guys who don't know that don't do it. They're screaming and they're trying to impress their buddy who hired them.
That's where the good teams in the NFL, they get extracted talent.
Yeah.
In other words, they're not buying him on the free agent market. They're not even drafting him high, but they're extracting it out of the ground. And like, how did this guy become good? Who was the wideout that flipped to DB for the Commander /
Quentin Dunbar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quentin Dunbar was a great example of
Bingo.
they made a serviceable
love Dunny.
DB out of this guy.
Dunny was something, man. We
Yeah.
do have to break. You could just chill if you want to, but I know you might be driving home.
Yeah, I might have to go exit stage left.
We may or may not have Doc with us as we return. You're listening to BMitch.